And welcome to Hero Power. This is episode 124, and I'm your host, Avantes, and as always, I'm joined by my co-hosts, Zeroshio.
You know, every time I see our intro, I'm reminded how animated my face gets during the show.
True story. True story.
And Versika.
I'm just glad we don't have the head shake montage yet.
Yeah, I started to work on that, and as I'm looking through the episodes, I'm like, damn, there's a lot of head shakes.
The trick is to just keep shaking my head so that you have way too much work to do, and it's just not worth the effort.
Yeah, man.
Hey,
Might have to, like, go out and
challenge
hire a third party to do it. So, all right. Well, we've got a great show lined up for you guys this week. We have just a little bit to talk about, some announcements that might have been made in the last 24 to 48 hours.
There's nothing happened in Hearthstone this week.
Right, yeah, exactly. Nothing at all. So, but first...
3 crazy guys got lost in the woods, that's all. That's all you need to know.
One guy went camping, 2 guys went looking for him, they all got lost, and a 4th guy found a camera. But
Job's done.
Job's done. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week. All right. But before we jump into all of that, we do have a new patron we want to welcome this week. Thank you, Easy Mac. Actually, wrote the wrong one in the show notes this week. But thank you for joining us, Easy Mac. We're glad to have you. Look forward to interacting with you in Discord, and hopefully you getting to see you participate in our upcoming patron tournament. I think it's going to be sometime in May at this point, but we'll let everybody know once we nail it down for sure.
It should be after the new set.
Should be after the new set, so we'll talk about that more in a minute. Zeroshio, I believe you have a shout-out this week.
I do have a shout-out.
For all the unbelievers out there.
For all the unbelievers. I had a experience on the ladder, and I've had a few of these before, but after a match, I get a friendly request, and I always accept them, unless it's real obvious that it's going to be salt. And he says, "Are you the Zeroshio from Hero Power?" And I said, "Yes, I am." And he's like, "Well, that is super cool if it really is you." So, Kingfish, this is to confirm that it really was me. Thank you for the great game, and I appreciate you friending me on BattleNet. So we'll talk more because we're friends on BattleNet. And thank you immensely for being a listener of the show.
All right. So the other thing we need to take care of before we get started is last week I told you guys I forgot about our monthly giveaway. That was my fault. So we are going to start this week's show by picking a winner for the $20 Battle.net card. Now, if you are a new listener or you are unfamiliar with how you can get into the drawing for this, it's easy. All you have to do is become a patron at the $5 or more level. So if you are a $5 a month or more patron, not only do you get priority access to the patron tournaments, the quarterly patron tournaments that we run, but you also get entered into this drawing. If you're a $10 patron, you get 2 entries. If you're a $20 patron, you get 4 entries, so on and so forth. So for every $5 increment, you get an additional entry into the drawing. So without further ado, let me just pull it up here, and we are going to pick ourselves a winner. And this month, that winner is Joseph Sanchez.
Oh man,
Ducharmo.
Ducharmo.
It's not showing up on
like 3 times, right?
Something like that. He is a $10 patron, so he had multiple entries. So congratulations, Ducharmo. I will be contacting you very shortly with your winnings. So guys, if you want to, congratulations. If you want to be entered in for that chance, all you have to do is be a patron. So you not only get that.
One more thing I want to mention about that is the $5 a month or more. For every $5 you get entered in a drawing, and for your $5 patronage, you get a guaranteed spot in our tournament. Now, if there's openings, we usually open it up for the rest of our patrons. However, we're starting to fill up our $5 slot pretty heavily. So, if all of our $5 patrons end up wanting to enter into the tournament, there may not be some extra slots open. So, if you're a patron that normally comes in at the dollar level and you wait for that opening for the tournament, just a forewarning, it may not be available this next tournament. It depends on our attendance, which looks like it's going to be pretty good. So if you want to guarantee a slot in that tournament, it is a $5 a month, which of course there's cash prizes, so you can earn your money back, like I did during the Hearth Coach Patron tournament last week, where I won and made some money. So, yep. You thought you were only going to hear about it for 1 week.
That's right.
Come on,
that's right.
You know me.
So, all right. Moving forward, because anywhere is better than here. All right. So, as we were hinting at, there was a little bit of news this week. We now know the name of the next Hearthstone expansion. It is Witchwood. No, not that wood.
Witchwood?
No, not that wood.
Oh.
The Witchwood. Yeah, the Witchwood. Not yeah, okay. So we're good. Okay. All right.
About that, that's real funny. And I know we talked about it a little pre-show. A lot of people were like, "Oh, Witchwood." Witchwood. Nobody knew where Witchwood was because the city they panned over, they never said the name of it. But it is actually Gilneas. A lot of people thought it was Darkshire, thought it was something around Duskwood, but no, it's Gilneas. And Witchwood is the forest just outside Gilneas that's in the starting zone for the Worgen. So if you never played a Worgen, you've never been to Witchwood. If you're Horde, you probably never heard of it. If you're Alliance, there's only a couple small quests that reference it, and most of them are starting quests in various areas. The only people that go into it is Worgen, and I believe it gets locked off at a certain point. So you can only get up to a level, and then you don't go there anymore.
I'm sure we will get a nice explanation of the lore from Lore Master Eve on Valen's Chosen. So if you guys are not familiar with Valen's Chosen, check it out. Lore Master Eve does a great job about talking about all of the things behind the Hearthstone game. Go give her a follow on Twitter and give Valen's Chosen a listen if you have not done so. It'll be a great insider to the information. With the announcement, we also got the introduction of 2 new mechanics to the game.
Well, one new mechanic and one branded name of a mechanic.
Yes.
It's already in existence.
It's already in existence, and that would be Echo. So, basically, Echo says when you play a card, add a copy of that card to your hand. And it's a ghostly copy, sort of like what you get with the hero Valera's or Unstable Evolution or Valera's Hero Power. You know that.
Well, no, because Valera's Hero Power, you only get 1 copy.
Well, that's true.
And it has.
You can only use it. You can only use it once.
Yeah.
Unstable Evolution, you can use it as many times as you have mana.
Yeah, that's true.
Echo is basically Unstable Evolution or Defile's effect. Now, I don't know if they're going to change those cards to change the wording on it to Echo or not. That hasn't been confirmed by Ben Brode or anybody in the development team. but those are the cards that are basically there.
Oh, Nazgad in chat says Echo is what happens when Zoroshio eats cheese all night long.
Yeah, I'll have to get with you, Nazgad. I can't have mac and cheese anymore.
Yep.
But we'll talk about that later.
So the other mechanic, and this is the one I really wanted to kind of talk about tonight on the show, so I hope you guys brought your talking. So it's Rush. Rush is minions with Rush may only attack other minions the turn they come into play. So, do we feel like this is their response to all the criticism around charge, or do we feel like this is just a secondary mechanic that will accompany? You'll still have minions with charge that can attack face. You'll still have minions with rush that can attack minions when they come into play. Go ahead, Versika.
Well, I mean, you've already got this with Charged Devilsaur.
Kind of.
But the thing with Charged Devilsaur is if something like
cheated into play
mechanic cheats it into play, then it's got charge. So this basically eliminates that possibility. So it has to. It's almost like when it comes into play, it does a series of checks to make sure. Charged Devilsaur, when it comes into play, it's like a series of checks. Did this come from your hand? If it did, then if you played it this turn, then it can't attack face. But oh, you didn't play it this turn, so it failed that check. So now it can charge because it had charge, and then it had like a qualifier underneath it. But now Rush is straight up, regardless of where it comes from. When it hits the board, it can go cruising for somebody's dome, just not the players. So I really wish that all of Charge would move over to Rush, but I know that's probably an unpopular opinion. But what this allows them to do is it allows them to create Charge cards, and if that card becomes a little too powerful or a little too impactful, they can always change it from Charge to Rush, and it won't necessarily. They don't have to nerf the card or like casting cost or attack value or defense value or anything like that. They can just change it from charge to rush, and that's sort of like I'm going to say an indirect nerf of sorts. It gives them a little bit of flexibility.
I like this. Originally, I thought, like you, it'd be nice if they changed charge to be like what rush is. But this allows the charge minions they've left in the game to still exist in that capacity. You have your Bluegill Warrior, you have your Leroy, Charged Devilsaur, Gromosh, and I think those are charge minions that haven't been seriously abused. Arguably, Leroy could, but I think that was more the mechanic of Emperor Thorson and not so much Leroy itself. So making a new mechanic called Rush allows them to still make maybe really large charge minions that are hard to get out and can't be cheated out easily, and still have that very rare, powerful rush or charge minion. But for the most part, any other charge minion, smaller charge minion they would make, they just give it Rush. My question is, and I was going to tweet Ben Brode about this today to see if I could get an answer, and just didn't have time, is will Rush be something that might affect changes to other cards, like, say, Warsong Commander? Maybe they revert it back to the way it was, but it only gives the minions Rush. Because we saw where Molten Giant was unnerfed going to Wild. Maybe that's something there that's not out of the realm of possibilities, where Warsong Commander can be a viable card again if they added a rush mechanic to it instead of charge. What do you think of that, Versika?
I don't know. I think this is. I think if you were to move Warsong Commander into Wild, maybe. But I don't think you mess with it in its current state, okay. Especially with Porkeron Elite still in the base set, the base kit for Warrior. But I mean, and it's something we'll see tonight. You can see just how impactful the decks that have legitimate charge minions that are hard to get around. When we play with the Doomguard. But you've got the variant of Warlock right now that uses the cubes and the charged Devil Sars to OTK your opponent. We've seen it in Hunter, cheating them out, both King Crush and charged Devil Sar. And for years we've seen Leroy Shadow Step. Leroy used to be able to do it 3 times. I think in a game where you're not allowed to interact with your opponent on their turn, charge is a very powerful mechanic, and it's something that I feel like maybe they've not respected that power enough as designers. I think this is a step in saying, okay, we have some really cool ideas, some really cool things that we want to do with this, but we can't, because if we do, it's just going to break things wide open. I don't think they want another repeat of Corridor Creeper where it's just an auto include in every deck. So I think Rush allows them to kind of dip their toes into some things that maybe they wanted to see in charge, and just were afraid it would do something bad. And I like the direction. I like that they're putting thought into it and realizing that, I almost kid when I say that charge is just a problem across the board. I think it has been a problem across the board because there's only 2 charge minions in the game that I feel like really have any type of negative, side effect of casting them. And Doomguard is incredibly powerful. But there have been many a times that I've discarded 2 cards that I needed to finish out the game because I made the call to cast Doomguard. So, I mean, there is the possibility of getting punished by it. And then Leroy, I mean, you won a game where your Knife Juggler took Leroy out because of the Dragon Whelps. And in a world where Knife Juggler is still around, especially in Dude Paladin, it's not as safe to use Leroy. So, as long as there is a downside to that charge minion on the turn it comes into play, I'm a little more okay with it. You're sacrificing a little bit in order for that power. So, I like that this kind of, if they use it correctly, then you've got all these cards that they kind of wanted to give charge but didn't have any real drawbacks, and you can put them over here in the rush category. And then everything that you want to have charged, you can put over here in this category and give it some kind of negative side effects so that you have to at least chance getting punished to be able to use it. So I like it, and I think it can be a great effect. I absolutely love charge being able to interact with the board, a minion being able to interact with the board state the turn it comes into play. I think it's a fun mechanic. I think it's a powerful mechanic, especially if you keep the toughness of those creatures very low. The problem comes when it can hit face and they no longer have to interact with the board. So, it's one of those things where this allows them to design space and freedom. Now they have, by introducing this mechanic, they have allowed themselves the design space and freedom to explore some things that maybe they've had to hold back because of other cards in the set, or because of a lack of healing in classes, or because, well, if we put this in, then we're going to have to include this card that isn't so great but is going to be in every deck because they need that early game taunt as a way to answer this over here. So I feel like that this is a very smart move by Blizzard to take a mechanic, kind of tone it back a little bit and say, okay, now that we've got this over here, now designers, here's the reins. We're taking the reins off. You just go ahead and go crazy, and we'll see what comes out of it.
Yeah, and see, one thing that I've noticed and I like is they've added this mechanic, but they haven't taken charge out. So it keeps that design space of charge open for future sets. But since last year, mainly in Angora moving forward, they've kind of started trickling in low-cost taunt minions. Some that have divine shield, some that have low attack but rather high health for its cost. And I think that with this Echo is dealing with charge in a way where it's a limited effect. It's not super powerful. Your opponents can now put fairly inexpensive charges up to or taunts up to block the charge, and now the Echo minions are actually able to take out most of those early charges because the one that they gave the example of when they did the reveal, it gets +3 attack, making it a 5/5 on the first turn, but then it goes down to a 2/5, but it has rush. So I like that they kind of have this balancing dichotomy where they do one thing to kind of fix charge and then they go the other direction so that the taunts don't go too crazy. I think they're doing a good job. Obviously, there's going to be people who don't like certain styles of cards and flavors, but so far, I'm enjoying it.
See,
I'm enjoying what they've done.
I'm in the camp of people that think Doomguard should be a 5/5. Still discarding the 2 cards. You're getting a 5 attack charge minion on the board, and 7 is a lot to deal with on turn 5. So yeah, I've always felt like it was a little. I've always felt like even with discarding the 2 cards, the power level that Doomguard brings to the table at 5 mana is significant.
That's true.
So this allowed. Now imagine that Doomguard is a rush card. Well, now 5/7 that hits the board that can't attack your face that turn, you effectively get 2 turns to deal with it before you take the 5. Whereas before 2 turns, you're down 10. That's a third of your overall health. So
sure.
I think it's going to be good for the game.
I enjoy it. Now I don't want Doomguard to be other than a 5/7 because it can soak up an explosive runes, but that's just me. That's me being greedy.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that idea. I think what you said about Doomguard being a 5/5 would be right in line. I don't think that's. I agree that it is a little OP, but. Matt at Arms says the rush card that they showed that we were just talking about is basically a flanking strike. He says it appears to be super solid, and that kind of leads me to what I want to talk about next. Is if you guys who have been listening to us for a little while remember last expansion, right before Kobolds and Catacombs came out, Matt at Arms actually created a spreadsheet where it allowed us to review and vote on the cards that we felt were good or bad in the expansion. Well, we had talked with Matt at Arms a little bit in Discord, and think we're going to bring that back again for this expansion because I think everybody had a good time filling out the list and going through, and I know we enjoyed talking about the cards on the show and trying to get the community's feel for what they thought about the cards pre-release. So instead of talking about these 6 cards that they announced today, we're going to wait until there's been more cards released. We'll do some as it gets closer to launch time, but once we have the list of cards, we'll release that to the community and let people start voting on the cards, like we did last time, and we'll try to get an idea for what the community feels are going to be the winners and losers from this expansion. So,
well, Matt at Arms is not going to create that spreadsheet because he's already created it.
Oh, well, there you go.
He's already put the 6 cards in it. Now, most of the community in the Patreon Discord have decided they're not going to do any voting on it till they see a majority if not all cards of the set.
Right.
But he's already added. He's already made the spreadsheet, and is going to slowly add the cards as they're released, so he doesn't have so much work on him at one time. And I'll tell you now, Man at Arms in our community is one of the best. If you've been even just thinking and just toying with the idea of dropping $1 on our Patreon, at patreon.com/heropower, just to be part of our community, now is the best time. Because I'll tell you, Man at Arms works really hard to make sure that our new release cards photo channel is updated quickly. I don't know any other communities that get the cards into their community's hands faster than our channel. Unless you're watching every single reveal, which is all over the world, Man at Arms gets those up as quickly as he can, usually to the minute, unless he's asleep because it's in a different time zone. And in those cases, sometimes he still is getting those first thing in the morning, if not in the middle of the morning. I know I get up at 6 in the morning and I see posts from card reveals that happen overseas at like 2 in the morning.
It's because Man at Arms uses a Hearthstone server for a pillow. It's like ding, reveal. He's like, oh, click, back to sleep.
I don't doubt that. Man at Arms is one of the hardest working community members, and he is part of just about every podcast community out there. However, he tends to post the new cards in ours first, if he posts them in those at all, because a lot of those don't have channels for them. So if you want to be part of our patron only Discord, now's the time to do it, because it's reveal season coming up in a couple weeks, and we're going to hear a lot of really new stuff. Now, they did reveal 6 cards, which we're not going to talk about in detail this week. They also teased out at the end of their video, which we have a link out in the show notes, of a Shaman hero card. Now, this was confirmed by Ben Brode on Twitter that Shaman is the only class getting a hero card. So this is my question. We have not heard of any kind of new type of card. No quests, no weapon, no class-only weapons, or class spell, legendary spells, or anything like that, which hasn't happened yet, but a lot of people were hoping it happened this set. We have heard, however, there's one class getting a hero card, and that's it. So does this tell me that maybe this is a set where we will see hero cards, quests, and class weapons?
Yeah, so Brode says Hagatha is a dark shaman who has twisted the woods around Gilneas. She is the witch in Witchwood. We wanted to make her a hero card so she'd stand out. Alright, so let's talk to our shaman guy. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I want to go ahead and go back a little bit. Since we were talking about Man at Arms, he's got a new show, and if you are in our Discord channel, you can see when that goes live. And I'm gonna. Well, I thought I had it pulled up.
It's in our new. It's in our new channel we made just for YouTube and Streamlinks.
Of course, there's updates. I was actually just going to send Avanti's the link, but my Discord is doing its thing. Anyways, so... Oh, come on. There we go. Okay, so you go down into our Discord, and you go to Stream and YouTube, and yeah, there it is. All of our streamers and YouTubes in one place.
Now, I don't think Man at Arms has posted his in there.
He's not posted it in there yet.
Because he just did one after we made before we made the channel.
Yeah.
I'm sure he will post the rest of them in that channel.
So the other thing that I was going to start doing is, Man at Arms is a fellow alchemy guy. He likes messing around with decks and making new decks. Very active in our channel with the deck list. And let me bring it up here. So you go to Deck Builder HS. I think he's 2 episodes. I think he's done 2 episodes so far. But yeah, so
That's
Deck Builder
correct.
HS. I think the last time he did, was it Wild? I think maybe the last time was a Wild one. I'm trying to remember. It was Saturday morning, I think, Sunday morning. Anyways, so once again, once he goes live again, we'll put it in that stream channel. But he gets in there and he creates, and this is reveal time, like we were talking about. So one of the things that we did when we did our Alchemy Lab show was we did it right on reveal day, or right after reveal day, and we got in there and we played around with all the new cards and we talked about new concepts. And we're going to do that again this time, and hopefully we can get Matt at Arms on, and we'll hopefully we can get him on and get him to put on his lab coat, and we can do a combo episode and bring it up for you guys. But he works hard at getting us all the new information, and we really appreciate that. He could go to a lot of other places to do it. So a special shout out to Matt at Arms for calling our Discord home. And guys, if you are, especially, and he says in chat that it's been all Wild so far. So if you are looking to really get into Wild, and maybe you haven't stepped in like myself, then it's definitely worth getting in there and watching and seeing how he creates his deck. He does a very good job of getting in and explaining why he's picking a card, what he's looking for in a card. So definitely worth checking out. So Hagatha, I'm really excited about Hagatha. So Gin Greymane is a card that I was thinking about as well, and I know that we haven't really talked about him yet, but one of the things that he does is he reduces the cost of your hero power, right? Or is he the one that?
No, he reduces it to 1.
He reduces the cost of your original hero power.
Yes.
So
your starting hero power. Because
we only got half a reveal on Hagatha, we don't know if she changes your hero power, a la Death Knight Thrall. So I'm assuming that she does.
I would think so.
So I think you're going to have this wide variety of places a shaman can go. You can play the traditional shaman and keep your totem hero power. You can DK and get the evolve hero power, which you'll only have unstable evolution once the set rotates out. So if you're still playing an evolve style shaman, you won't want Hagatha because she will change that hero power as well. And if you're playing Greymane, to reduce the hero power to 1, you probably won't want to play her either, because then it'll go back up to 2, unless what she changes the hero power to is really strong, which is very possible. The thing about Hagatha being the only hero card in the set is I feel like in the end it's going to affect the power level of the shaman's normal cards. So whereas other classes may get 2 legendaries that are on the board, affecting the board state and helping you win the game on the board, Shaman are probably only going to get 1 because you're going to have Hagatha that changes the hero. So a lot of it's going to depend on what her effect is when she comes into play, as far as like where I feel her power level is going to be. Regardless of what she turns the hero power into, it's what's going to happen when that card takes effect. Is it going to be something like a lightning storm where she clears the board? Is it going to be something that gives you armor? Is she going to heal you? Is she going to set your life total at a certain amount via something like Jiraxis? Which, by the way, everyone's like, why is Shaman the only one that gets a hero card, and so on and so forth? Jiraxis has been in the base set for forever. It was like 2 years before anyone but Warlock had a hero card.
Yeah, I don't know if you'd call it a hero card, but yeah, I get your point on that. Here's my theory, though. Talking on that topic that you were mentioning, it might seem unbalanced if all the classes get 2 legendary minions and Shaman only gets 1 and the hero card. That's why I think every class is going to get 1 legendary minion, and that second slot is going to be different through multiple classes. Shaman will get a hero card. Maybe some of the weapon classes will get a legendary weapon. Some of the more spell heavy classes might get a quest. That would kind of balance it out a little bit, in my opinion, that each class gets a legendary minion, which hopefully is a decent power level, and then each class gets a second legendary that is not a minion, and they just use some of the different things that they came out with last year, thus cycling some of that old play styles with quests and weapons and Death Knights, so that when those sets next year rotate out, those will still be in the rotation for standard.
I think I like that concept, but I think you're probably a little early with it. I think if this was the year that was rotating out and you were losing DKs and quests and artifact weapons, because all those are going to cycle out at once, it doesn't seem like they would go right back to that in the same year or at the start of the next year. So I think what I would like to see is you've done legendary weapons, you've done legendary hero cards, and you've done legendary quests. I think now is the perfect time to introduce legendary spells.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with you there. Yeah, I like that.
If Hagatha's effect is something worth having when she takes over the Shaman portrait, that could almost act as Shaman's legendary spell on top of it. So you get your typical legendary minion, and then everyone would get legendary spells except for Shaman, and Shaman would get Hagatha, who would have an effect as she comes into board, and possibly completely changing the hero power, but more than likely probably altering it. Just so in a sense. Maybe she changes the totems to a different set of totems. Something a little more Grim Totem-like.
You kind of mentioned that it might be too early for this. I think it's right on time, because we have 3 sets this year, but we have 3 different types of legendary cards that were introduced last year: quests, weapons, and hero cards. What if this set, we got a mix of classes, some getting quests, some getting weapons, and then the one getting hero cards, and then through the next 2 sets, each of the classes get what they didn't get the previous sets. By the end of the year, when they rotate out, we lose all the hero cards, all the quests, all the DKs, and every class now has a hero card, a quest, and a DK, or a hero card, quest, and a weapon.
So the problem that you run into with that is what happens when you try to balance said artifact weapon against a quest. So let's say that you have something equivalent to an Aluneth or a Skull of Minari, and that's what you've got over here for Mage and Warlock, and then over here you've got Jungle Giants and Galvatron Quest. Yeah,
I agree with you.
Are you going to have a 3 months? Are you going to have a 3-month cycle where people just don't play those classes because they're not as strong as the other classes?
That's what I'm saying.
But you have that now, anyways. You had that with the quests and the weapons.
But one of the things that didn't happen in the cycle, at least at the beginning, was you didn't have just one class being played for forever. I mean, once the meta solidified, I think it really came down to about, I'm going to say, 4 tier 1 heroes and multiple decks within that you could play. You could argue tier 1.5, whatever. But, there for a long time, it took a long time for the meta to actually settle. And before that, everyone was really getting played but Shaman and Warrior.
You can argue that the meta is still not settled. We weren't really going to talk about in the show notes, but EGLX, the most played class was Hunter, and the most winningest class was Warrior. Which, if you ask most people in the competitive scene, those classes were not until EGLX in the tier list, in the top. They were tier 3 or lower. I like where the meta is at right now, and I hope it stays this way, because, like I said, to me the meta is not even settled, and we're a month from the next set.
Yeah, I think the meta is. I guess in my opinion, the meta is a little more settled than it normally. It took longer to get to where it is right now than it normally does, and I think Kobolds and Catacombs did a fairly decent job of creating a meta that had the feel that you could play almost anything and at least be a little competitive with it early.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you added in the Corridor Creeper nerf and the Raza nerf, then I think that really opened it up. At that point, no one really knew what was going on, and it forced almost like a mid-cycle meta shift, and I really liked that. I would like to see that kind of thing happen each expansion, and I know people are going to say, no, we don't want our favorite cards nerfed all the time, but you know, when you look at that and you take that mid-cycle approach and you say, this card is driving the meta, this card is driving the meta, let's do something about that, and you force that mid-meta shift, I feel like it makes people a little more invested because they're already halfway through. They're like, oh man, I got to start all over. So now they're more into it. And I know for me, the ladder remained more interesting longer this time than normal. And I was just about done with it about the time the Corridor Creeper nerf hit. And then it was just like, oh wait, this is an entirely new ball game now.
Yeah, I'd agree with you. This is something we'll probably be talking about for weeks to come.
For the next few weeks, yeah. We need to go ahead and move forward. But I wanted to get that in because that was the primary topic I wanted to discuss this week.
Yeah.
The new solo adventure for Witchwood will be called Monster Hunt. So basically, it will be released 2 weeks after launch. Players will have to fight through a total of 8 bosses, similar to the dungeon runs. Only instead of choosing one of the existing classes, you will get to play as one of 4 unique heroes with their very own hero powers. So we'll learn more about those as we get closer to launch. If you log in, go ahead.
I will say that one thing I like is, and it may seem negative, they're releasing this 2 weeks after the launch. I will tell you, when they launch Kobolds and Catacombs, normally with set releases, you see a lot of streamers opening packs and that. You didn't see any of that. Everybody just jumped right into the dungeon runs and started streaming those. So this 2 weeks will give them time to make sure that it's smooth, it's not going to have any bugs, and it'll give players time to open their packs, enjoy the new cards, and then enjoy the solo content. So I think this is a nice structure. I think they should have done it with Kobolds and Catacombs. I like that they're doing it with this new set. Even though I have to wait 2 more weeks to play it, it'll be worth it.
Yeah, I agree. Also, logging in after Witchwood launches will reward you with 3 additional packs and 1 random class legendary, like they have done in past expansions. So you will get a legendary just for logging in after the release. I'm not going to talk about that. There's been some data mining done. We don't know anything for sure, so we're going to hold off on talking about that. The Witchwood reveal stream is going to happen at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern on March the 26th. I'm assuming that's going to be a Friday. No, that's a Monday.
No, that is a Monday.
Yeah. So Monday, March 26th, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Usually this starts the daily card reveal cycle. So
it's been confirmed by Ben Bro that that card reveals will start that day on various streams and media and social media sites.
Okay. So get ready. That's when reveal season will really ramp up into full steam ahead. So what does that mean for you guys right now? Well, this past Monday, patch 10.4 went live, and that means the pre-order for Witchwood is live. Now,
Yes.
just like past expansions, you do have the option for the $50 for 50 packs plus the special card back. But this time, there's a bonus. You get an additional 20 packs. So for $50, they are giving you 70 packs of Hearthstone. That makes it like 70 cents a pack, guys. That is
Nuts.
insanely good deal.
You really just brought up the scientific calculator over my face.
Yes, I did.
Not on the stream. Nobody saw that. See? You're just behind the curtain. Now, a lot of people are speculating, and Reddit has said this, that a lot of this extra cards are because of a lot of the inflations and extra fees they've had to charge other countries for buying packs, and that people in the United States are just reaping the benefit of 20 extra packs. I don't know how accurate that is. I'd like to think that they're just trying to answer the concerns for Hearthstone being too expensive. This is a good way for people that do purchase the pre-order to get into it. I assume, well, obviously we're getting the 3 packs for when Witchwood launches, and we can assume that there'll probably be some pack rewards tied to the solo adventure somewhere, similar to what they did with dungeon runs. And I think this is Blizzard just trying to answer the community and say, we still have to make money off this game. That's what we're paid to do, but we want to lessen the burden a little bit. So they're going to offer. They seem to be offering more quest rewards. They're changing the quest system, which we talked about before. That the quests will reward 50 gold instead of the 40 gold. They'll be making those changes. We talked about that last week. And now the bonus packs in this bundle. I think this is just Blizzard's way of saying, I know we're putting 3 sets out. It seems more expensive. We'll help you with that a little bit.
Well, too, it allows them to know about how many, when I worked at GameStop, one of the reasons why we wanted people to reserve games was so that we would know how many to order. Yeah. So that we had enough to make sure that we had a copy for everyone that wanted one for sure, and then still order enough for the person that just comes in and walks. So while it's a little bit different for Blizzard, there's still going to be sort of that gauge of not only interest, but how many packs they're going to have to open that day. And one of the things that you didn't notice with Kobolds and Catacombs that you did notice with GVG, the Grand Tournament, and Whispers of the Old Guards is that we crashed the stores.
Yes.
So I don't think they crashed the store on Knights of the Frozen Throne. I'm pretty sure they didn't on Ungoro, and I know we didn't in Kobolds and Catacombs.
Yep.
So what do all those have in common? Well, they really started pushing the pre-orders with Whispers. It was available for TGT. I remember it being available for TGT, but I didn't get it for TGT.
Nope.
But I did for Whispers because they offered the card back, and at the time, it hit at a budget-friendly place, and I realized the value of already having my packs in my launcher so that I didn't have to go and buy them. So now, by enticing us with the 20 extra packs, that to me that is a great value. Why would you not take that? Well, if you've got 70 packs in, maybe you're not going to hit the store as hard.
I am. I've already got 4,300 gold. That's another 43 packs. And I'll have 5,000, maybe 6,000 gold by the time the game, or by the time the set launches.
But you're not putting in the credit card.
Oh no, no!
Yeah,
I've already hit.
Yeah,
I've already hit the store, but I'll be buying another 50 or so packs.
It's also not just the store. They could also gauge with the number of people that are setting the pre-order how many people are expecting to sit and do nothing but open packs day one, so they can make sure to maybe pull some of the server storage for those databases and those tables based on a number that they have on pre-orders, and then probably multiplied by 300%. to kind of take the extra brunt, so that maybe
they can
other
allow some
servers-
server space.
Well, and
Yeah.
exactly.
and by buying my bundle early, I may have another $20 by launch day to drop on another,
True.
15 packs or whatever. So
Well, and also, Matt at Arms brought up a great point. Gadget Zan packs were bugged. So
Yes.
when we crashed the real money shop for Gadget Zan, like, not only were they having to deal with bugged packs, but they were having to deal with getting the shop back up. They were having to fight two different problems on two different fronts. If you can eliminate the shop going down, it allows you to concentrate on bug fixes if you have some issues with the launch. So it's really if you're going to get it anyway, at 50 packs for $50 was still a great deal. 70 packs for $50 is a no-brainer. If you're going to buy, if you're not totally free to play and you're going to buy, there is absolutely zero reason why you shouldn't have the pre-order.
there you go.
And Amazon has a deal going on right now with Gamer Sensei that if you buy so many coins, you get coaching time with Gamer Sensei, and basically your coins end up adding up to, for $40 you get $75 worth of coins, as well as the Gamer Sensei coaching, if I have that accurate, which means you can buy your pre-order and have some coaching for on the side through Gamer Sensei. So it's a great deal if you have an Amazon device or you have some way to spend Amazon coins. It's a good deal to have.
Yeah. All right.
Or you could just tune in and watch Avanti's Matt at Arms, Zeroshio, and I do the Alchemy Lab and get coached that way.
There you go.
Yeah, that's true. And also, this 10.4, while it did allow for the pre-order, it also pushed the new arena changes, which we probably won't go into much detail. I think the only person that's playing that fairly religiously is me, spending all my gold I spent on the set. But, it's neither here nor there. Then it pushed information for a new year party to celebrate Year of the Raven. More details to come soon. So that's nice. That means they have some kind of celebration, which, similar to other sets that came out last year, they had some events that if you logged in, you got some rewards. Sometimes it was gold, sometimes it was standard packs, sometimes it was current set packs, and sometimes it was packs for the set that's about to come out. So that's another way that they're giving back to the community. Again, we don't know exactly the details of the Year of the Raven, but it's probably...
We'll let you know as soon as we do.
Celebration. We'll let you know as soon as we do.
All right, this week's Tavern Brawl is Cart Crash at the Crossroads, so it's a rehash. We've seen this one quite a few times. Pick a class, pick a second class, go at it. All right, so this week's...
This is just like
done.
typical... Yeah, this is the typical, we're getting ready to release an expansion.
Exactly.
We're going to go back to tried and true Tavern Brawls.
Yeah, so this week's deck is brought to us by Zeroshio. Now, Zeroshio, didn't you do something with this deck this week?
Yeah, I did quite a few things with this deck this week. I played it on the ladder. I won with it, and I became the two-time Hearth Coach Patron Champion.
That was last week.
Yeah. Oh, y'all know this already?
Yeah.
I got Legend!
8 days in.
I got Legend on the day after the show last week, on March the 8th. Of course, it's faster than I've gotten it in the past, but this is Legend 2 times in a row during the last month in the old system, and then this month in the first month of the new system. I did get it a little faster than I normally progress from 5 to Legend, which is, I'd never gotten to 5 and then within 8 days gotten to 7 days because we couldn't play the first day, gotten all the way to Legend. I didn't get any extra stars from the change. I started out at rank 5 and 0 stars, or rank 5 and 5 stars, which you're supposed to start at rank 4 and 0 stars, but I guess it's the same, so I guess it doesn't matter.
So you got Legend. Let's talk about the deck. Because that's what we're here to do. Talk about the deck. Not talk about you.
The deck I got Legend with was Zoo Warlock.
That's
now,
right.
Zoo Warlock was one of my first loves. Warlock was my first golden class, Paladin shortly after. And Zoo really did well for me when I first started playing before the rank system. I like Zoo. I like piloting Zoo. I'll run through the deck and explain some of my choices in here. Or do you want to run through the deck?
No, I'll run through it, and then you can talk about your choices and how the deck plays. So
Gotcha.
it's 2 Blood Imps, 2 Flame Imps, 2 Kobold Librarians, 2 Malkazar Imp, 1 Mortal Coil, 2 Soul Fire, 2 Voidwalker, 2 Demon Fire, 2 Vulgar Homunculus, 2 Blood Fury Potion, 2 Crystal Weaver, 2 Sarnite Chain Gang, 2 Despicable Dreadlord, 2 Doomguard, 2 Fungalmancer, and 1 Blood Reaver Gul'dan. So take it away.
So this deck loses to Control Warlock. If you're seeing a lot of Control Warlock on the ladder, and I was at the time, I was playing Mage, and Mage got me up, a couple ranks into towards Legend. But then all of a sudden, I started seeing Dude Paladin, some Secret Mage, and Priest, any variety of Priest. This deck beats those 3 decks, and it beats them handily. Has a little trouble with Morlock Paladin, but can beat it. But Dude Paladin gets wrecked by the Despicable Dreadlords and the small little wall of taunts you can put up. Basically, with Secret Mage, it's a race. Your minions versus their burn. And if they have to use their burn on your minions, that's less damage they're going to do to your face. So it wins that race. And Priest, it just outruns them. By the time Priest is setting up a way to deal with the board, they've already lost. It does suffer really bad to the Control Warlock. Doesn't have silences in the deck because that's really the only deck you want to put silences in, and silences just aren't enough. But this deck went on a crazy win streak for me. I think I went 9-1 to finally get into Legend. And then once I got into Legend, I actually got up into the top 300 Legend over the weekend, even though all the major pro players were in EGLX in Toronto. But either way, I still got up top 300 Legend. But once I started hitting a wall of Control Warlocks, I had to switch from it. I like this deck. There's been a lot of varieties of Zoo. I think one Versika showed me had some tech for the Murloc Paladin matchup and some of the weapon class matchups. But for the most part, this is just your straightforward demon heavy Zoo. And if you'll notice, it has Fungalmancer in there, and that card is sick good if timed properly. And you're muted.
All right, cool. Well, I am looking forward. I love ZooLock. It's always been one of my favorite archetypes in the game. So I'm looking forward to seeing this one played. You guys have any last second thoughts you want to talk about before we move on to the play portion?
I really like the Sarnite Chain Gang in because I run the Councilman, and I like that. I may take my I may take my Councilman out and put in the Chain Gang instead. I run Glacial Shards instead of Blood Imps, so it'd be interesting to see how the Blood Imps work.
Well, the thing is with the Blood Imps, if you get them out on 1 and then can hit them with a Demon Fire on 2, that is a 5/4 going to face on 2. I've won many games, and one of the reasons why I don't run the Councilman is I won many games where I just put out a Void Lord or a Flame Imp out on turn 1, and then the next 2 turns are Demon Fire and Blood Fury Potion, and I only have the 1 minion. So you're investing a lot into 1 minion to get out of the range that the opponent can beat it, especially with Dude Paladin, which is just going to hit it with 1/1s. So the Councilman doesn't get as much benefit because you're not flooding the board wide all the time, though sometimes you are. And the card you do that with is Sarnite Chain Gang, which is what you usually substitute Councilman for. So if Councilman's in the deck, Chain Gang's not. And Chain Gang is really good with Fungalmancer. To put Chain Gang out on 4, and if they don't deal with the Chain Gang, to be able to buff those up to the 4/5s, That's just crazy.
Yeah. So, all right. So I believe that's gonna do it for us this week. If you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via the audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast. Find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you can help support and improve it by joining our Patreon. With this, you'll get exclusive access to our patron-only Discord, the quarterly patron tournaments, and our giveaways like you saw or heard earlier today at patreon.com/HeroPower. And we'll see you all again next week.
And don't forget to use your hero power.
Alrighty, gentlemen. Who is
Right
ready
at
to
an
play some
hour.
Warlock?
All right.
A little longer.
Spectate
Yeah.
somebody.
Do what?
All right. I was looking to spectate somebody. Like, wait, no, I'm driving.
No, we're spectating you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm at 4,300 gold already, so I'm ready for this expansion.
I was at 2,600. Now I'm at 1,840 because I've been playing arena and doing shenanigans. So I'm on a good arena run now. I think I'm up to 5 wins or 6 wins. And only 1 loss,
Nice.
I think. Might be 2 losses. All right, so I have a worthy opponent. And see, earlier today, I was at rank 1,800 and change. So even when you don't play on legend rank, your rank drops pretty significantly.
Yeah.
So, got Kobold, the Librarian, Doomguard, and Demon Fire. I'm going to keep the Librarian and ditch the Doomguard. Now, Demon Fire doesn't help me with Librarian, so I'm not going to keep it. If this was a Blood Imp or Flame Imp or any other demon that's 1 mana, I would keep the Demon Fire.
Okay. So you're
So
going
I'm
to throw
just
back
gonna
Doomguard and Demon Fire and keep the Librarian.
Exactly.
You get Fungalmancer and a second Librarian.
That's not bad.
Allows us to kind of go through the cards in our library, draw some.
Yep, and this is also one thing. We're playing against a rogue, and the thing about rogue is they're going to probably use their weapon to deal with these minions. That's face damage.
Yes.
So anytime they use a weapon to hit a minion in a class that doesn't heal regularly, it's just a net gain.
So you would just hero power here, right?
In most cases, I would just hero power.
Do you not?
But
Do you not fear a coin? What was it? Knife. What's the AOE?
Fan of Knives.
Fan of
Knives.
Knives. Yeah.
I do a little bit. If this is Kingsbane, there's at least 1 Fan of Knives in it. So I think the tap is probably smarter here. If I knew it wasn't Kingsbane, I would probably, we're going to go face, I would probably throw the second one out. But let's just tap. But the Fury Potion's good. Even on the 2-1, it would make it a 5-1. But he's going to clear it. He's playing really slow, which tells me this is probably Kingsbane. So it means I have to put on the gas because Kingbane.
Homunculus Cobalt Librarian.
Librarian first, but yes, I think we're going to play the Homunculus. You do take a lot of face damage from your own minions.
Mm-hmm.
And I am going to play the Homunculus. We drew into the Flame Imp, but it can easily be backstabbed. I like to draw out the backstab or SI agent, which SI agents sometimes show up in the Kingsbane list, sometimes they don't.
Usually it's just a one of.
Yeah, if it's any, it's a one of.
Yeah.
Going to Eviscerate?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
I think this
That's
is
good.
probably Miracle. It's Miracle.
Yeah, now that I see the Talanos, it looks like Miracle.
This is a Sarnaut turn, right?
Yeah, I like the chain gang here. Just because they're 3 health. And if he doesn't deal with both of them, or if he doesn't deal with one of them, we definitely have good Fungalmancer. We might Fungalmancer anyways.
I was gonna say, if he deals with one, then you just drop Despicable, right?
That's what I think.
If he doesn't deal with both,
Ooh, wow. And the other Eviscerate already. That's making our Despicable Dread. Oh, and he's wasted a Cold Blood. Yeah, this is definitely a Despicable turn.
I think so.
The only other option would be Homunculus and double down on Flame Imps to go wide.
See, I'm. So here's the thing. You can go really tall here in just a minute. If you play the Despicable Dreadlord now, you can lay a Flame Imp and Fungalmancer.
Yep.
Next turn, and then you can go into the other two and your Blood Fury the turn after.
I like that. I like that a lot. And if he does deal with this, we can still go wide, and he's probably used a decent amount of resources since both of his Eviscerates are gone. If anything, he's probably going to sap it. Yep, sap. There's sap. That's fine. Now we...
See, now I feel a little bit better about putting down the ones that damage your face. He's still got at least one more sap.
Yeah, he has one more sap, and he might have Vanish in here.
I would, now that we've drawn into the Voidwalker, I think Despicable and Voidwalker is a very nice play.
I like that too. The Void, that, yeah. And that doesn't get punished as bad for Vanish.
Right.
Because we won't have to double the damage to our face. I'd love to draw a second Despicable. So does he pump this last damage into the... Oh, a second Cold Blood. Wow. He is getting rid of a lot of his burst damage.
All of his removal is gone.
Okay,
Except
so
for one sap.
we can Flame Imp, Homunculus, and Crystal Weaver here.
That's brutal. It's a lot of damage, but I don't think he's running Vanish.
I don't think so either, but I like it. What do you think?
I like that too.
And you are going to damage your face. That's where a lot of these demons that are taunts and the Saronite chain gangs, they help you because they're almost like healing. They're negating the extra face damage you would get for taking the face damage to put them out. There's a backstab. Backstab Shiv. He's using so many resources.
He'll have to run everything in to get rid of the Homunculus.
Yeah.
And he's going to. Wow.
Do we just...
I think we lay down Malchazar's Imp.
Mm-hmm.
Then we Fungalmancer.
In between the two?
In between the two.
Okay. Then do we just Soulfire the minion?
I don't even think we do that.
Because if we Soulfire, we're going to draw.
Yeah.
7, 10, 12. He's at 12. Yeah, you can Soulfire. I would
Soulfire the
Soulfire
minion or
face.
face?
I would Soulfire.
Okay.
I'd Soulfire face.
I'm fine with that. And
Force him into the trade.
I was hoping we discard the Flame Imp, but okay, we got Demon Fire. That's not bad. I don't want to put the Flame Imp out because I'm kind of worried about Leroy Burst.
Yeah.
Auctioneer.
Well, you don't have to worry about Eviscerates.
No, or Cold Bloods.
Yeah.
It's probably going to be Sap, Backstab Sap. Oh no, Backstab.
Backstab.
Where's he
There's
getting
only
the other
one backstab. Only one backstab left. Only one sap left.
Fan?
Yep.
There's Fan, and he's going to run the 3-2 in. Okay.
There's the sap on the Malchazars.
But he's getting pretty desperate.
You see,
Doomguard? Ooh. Okay,
I
so
say
if...
you Malchazars, run the Fungalmancer and Demon Fire onto the Auctioneer, and then Doomguard. You'll draw a card.
The other option is it's riskier. If we Doomguard and don't discard the Demon Fire, it's lethal. We could even tap before we do that. But that's kind of greedy.
It's pretty greedy. I don't think he's got enough gas to take you out without the eviscerates.
Malcasar and Demon Fire Auctioneer with the 2/1 running into it, and then Doomguard.
That's how I would do it.
I like it. I'm just thinking of the other line that is the riskier play, but could be a winning play. Oh, there we go. So far for lethal.
Yeah.
So your play panned out. Awesome.
Nice.
Like it. I like it a lot. And I my THL match, I had a situation where I had to top deck either a Demon Fire or Soul Fire to win and didn't do it. I'm glad it panned out this time. Ooh, I finished a quest.
If he had still even had one eviscerate, I would have been worried.
Yeah.
Because like you said, he could have comboed Leroy, but he had already used both Cold Bloods. He'd already used both eviscerates. So most of his burst was gone.
That's what Zoo does. Zoo, if you can keep your opponent on the back foot, Zoo will beat you. Oh, we're playing Hogger. Oh, goodness. So Saronites kind of lose a little value here because of the 3 health against mages. A lot of their damage comes in 3s. The Soulfires will be good later, so I think we ditch this whole hand.
I agree. Especially going second.
This is probably
going first.
This is probably Secret Mage, which in the name of the game for beating Secret Mage is just try to burst faster than it can. Make them have to use their spells on your minions.
So if it is Secret Mage, we want bigger butts on there than...
Yes, but turn 1 he would have to coin out hero power for Cobalt.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. I would Cobalt Librarian.
Okay.
Just to make sure that we don't lackey into explosive runes.
Yeah, and the Cobalt Librarian challenges the lackey.
Right. We don't want to take 5.
No. Well, he didn't lackey.
So
what about Voidwalker and Blood Imp? That Blood Imp challenges the
Flame Imp.
Yeah, Flame Imp. The Flame Imp challenges the Worm.
I like that.
Okay. Now we want correct meteor placement, which probably won't matter. Now, if he pings the 2/1, we're really ahead.
Yeah.
The worst play we wouldn't want to see is lackey, secret, coin, ping. That would be really bad. It's probably a secret. Yep, that's fine. Now we can just run the 2/1 in.
Yeah. So
2/1 into the 3/2?
Yeah.
And then 3/2 face, right?
Yeah.
Now, this ordering is going to be important for explosive runes. Do we value the homunculus more than the imp?
I don't think so. I think I would rather have the homunculus take the explosive rune.
Okay.
It's going to be 4 versus 2.
What if it's mirror? Do we want to fight against a taunt, or do we want to fight against a 1/3?
I don't think it's mirror. I think Malcazar's imp is going to be more valuable to us in the long run, but we take more damage with the homunculus.
So, well, no, we'll take the same because we're going to put out the homunculus anyway. So we'll actually take 5 versus 4.
Yeah, go ahead and throw the homunculus out and test for it.
Nope. Oh, yep. Runes. Okay. I like that for runes. You're right though. The mirror entity play. I didn't think about that. But if we were going to go that line, we wanted to attack first with the flame imp, anyways.
The mirror entity we would have wanted to have pulled out anyway because we don't want to have to worry about it with Despicable Dreadlord or...
In Standard, you usually don't see it in the secret list. In Wild, you'll see one of Mirror Entity because you take out the Firelance portals. Tap.
I think so.
Go ahead and play the Imp.
Yeah. Or the Librarian. And I would go ahead and take out that Arcanologist.
What about going face and Soulfiring the Arcanologist since we draw a card?
That's fine.
I like that.
If you only discard the Doom Guard, then it's... We got the best possible solution. Yeah. So now
Doom Guard would be the worst.
Yeah, now we have choices.
Well, he has choices, because if he goes face, he leaves a board open for Fungalmancer.
That's not good.
So we have two options here.
So I feel like this is Despicable Dreadlord.
To soak up the other runes? Because
we only want to take the 1 damage. We definitely don't want it to be Fungalmancer. And...
Could we go Crystal Weaver? We'll take 1 extra damage, but we'll put 2 extra damage on the board?
I'm worried about getting it. We've not seen a Fireball yet. I'm worried about Fireball, Frostbolt.
So Dreadlord and then kill the 3-2 with the 2-1 and go face?
I think so.
Okay.
That gives us a better Fungalmancer turn.
Polymorph. That's actually not bad. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's weird to see. I've seen a couple builds with Polymorph, but
if he doesn't at least get rid of the sheep, then it can actually be a Fungalmancer target too. So
yeah, we put this in the middle, and do we just go face with it?
I think so. I think we put it in the middle, and let's see. Wait, 6. He can't kill us next turn.
So Fungalmancer in the middle.
Alaneth, so he's running out of gas. Yeah, Fungalmancer in the middle. And
I mean, we can keep both minions alive and still trade.
Yeah, we should probably do that.
Because that's 6 damage on board. But now here's the thing. He's at 6 mana, and he'll probably want to ping one of these 2 threats off the board.
Yeah, it'll probably be the Imp, too.
If he Alaneths this turn, that's great. If he does anything besides ping, we're in a great spot, because we can Doom Guard and draw 2 cards. He's still going to ping. No, Frostbolt. So I think we sheep to kill the 2/3, Doom Guard, and just go face.
I agree.
Don't discard Doom Guard? Yes.
Both Crystal Weavers. And we get to, well, we would have gotten the Soulfire.
Yeah. Well, we wouldn't have gotten the Soulfire because it'll be counterspelled. But it'd be, I think next turn we Demon Fire. I don't know. I think we win next turn. Unless it could be Ice Block.
Oh.
Wow. He is desperate. I think that's that's Counterspell.
I agree. So
we Demon Fire to test for Counterspell, and then just Soulfire. There we go.
There we go. We win. Game. Yep.
I was hoping to discard the Doom Guard, so he saw. I should have Doom Guard so it discarded the Soulfire, so he knew he was screwed. This deck is good.
It's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Good. It beats Mage. It beats Priest. It beats Paladin. What more do you need?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
2-0.
2-0. That's.
Look at that. Ran all the way to 8:30 in the audio portion and just 20 quick minutes in the play portion.
I'm telling you, if you play Doom Guard, you too could be legend like Zoroshio, the 2-time Hearth Coach Patron Champion.
Yeah. Oh. Oh, what is
I
that?
got legendary. Oh no!
Tavern Brawl legendary. This is my Tavern Brawl pack from
Standard.
today.
Do you have all the legendaries from standard?
I do
He does
not.
not.
From classic, I mean.
I do not.
He does not.
Gruel. That's one I was missing.
Nice.
So,
Well, I mean, you're only gonna get ones you're missing.
right? Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
obviously, but yeah, no, that's good. That's one I don't have to worry about opening later. So,
Yeah, I still have a couple more legendaries to get from classic, and then I'll get my wonderful 100 gold for having every classic card.
nice. Yeah, I think I counted. Now that I have Gruel, I think I'm missing 10 legendaries from having everything classic.
While I've spent some of my gold, I'm actually up to 4,100 dust. So I'm in a good spot, and I will probably craft some of the Hall of Fame cards in Legend to get that little extra
Yeah,
dust.
Yeah,
I won't be able to do them all because I don't have that much dust.
I'm at 1,700 dust. So,
I always want to at least be at 3,200 to craft 2 legendaries from the new set that I believe to be good in the meta, or at least something I'd want to play.
right.
Usually Paladin, unless they make another Bolvar card.
Well, I have found that if you open about 100 packs, you'll have about a legendary's worth of dust from duplicates of rares and commons. So,
Well, that's also with Avanti's luck, where most of those duplicates are golden. And
no,
that's the extra.
I do dust all my goldens, but I don't pull that many goldens. So, all right, guys.
Just duplicate, just lots of legendaries, so you don't have to craft anything.
Yeah, there's that too. All right. That's going to do it for us this week. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button below on YouTube, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted when we go live. And for more details about our giveaways, quarterly tournaments, and Discord, check out patreon.com/heropower. Until next time, good gaming.
See you in Witchwood.
Which wood?
Yes.
Not that wood.